my computer. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rockstars on the Rise, call number 2. It is February, I don't even know here, February 23rd, 2020. Some people re-listen to these, so just in case. I am Debbie Cook. I am from New Jersey. I've been with Pampered Chef for 18 years. And go ahead, Laura, introduce yourself.
I am Laura Antical. I have been a consultant. This is my 23rd year, and I'm an advanced director from New Jersey.
Yay! Okay. Okay. So, oh my goodness.
You skipped. You skipped.
No, it's playing. It's not letting me.
Stop.
I am trying. Look, it's just going slide by slide, but it's not telling me like time. Yeah, I don't know. This is like a different play. I guess I can't do it that way. Okay, there we go. All right, we'll just do it this way. Sorry.
Debbie, can you mute everybody except for, well, I'll come out of mute, but can you mute everybody? There are people getting feedback.
Okay. I think I don't have you muted, but I think I have everybody else muted right now. Okay. So, number 1, welcome again. Congratulations on getting to week 2. We want you to put in the chat your name, because sometimes your name comes up different on the screen than it does in there. So in the chat, please put your name and who your director is. Okay. So go to the chat and do that now while we're doing that. And this is just, this is the things we're going to review today. So we're not really going to talk about this slide, but these are the next few slides that are coming up. Okay. So I'm not really going to talk about those. Let's see if it lets me. I don't know how to do it the other way. Okay. So, yeah, this is not working right, Laura, is it? All right, there we go. Okay. So I just want to remind you about the benefits beyond your kit. So Fast Track, some of you guys are still on Fast Track rewards. So this is really amazing. I love all these free gifts, and I know some of you guys have gotten these, so make sure you keep track of your 90 days to get these. And if you don't have this slide, it's in Consulting Corner. But for all of you guys, each month you can earn 20% up to 27%, and you guys can keep track of that as well. If you guys promote a Fast Track to director on your team and help them maintain their title for 90 days, you're going to end up with $500 cash. Who doesn't want cash? I don't know. We all want cash, right? You guys can always put it in the chat. Then promote a Fast Track advanced director in their first 6 months. So this means anybody that you add to your team, when they Fast Track, they're going to get the $500 cash. And when they Fast Track to advanced director in their first 6 months, you're going to get $1,000. I don't know about you. Throw in the chat what you would use with an extra $1,000. Let them maintain that, and you're going to get another $1,000. So that is $2,500 in cash besides the overrides that you're going to get on them. Plus,
before you go on, Debbie, I just want to shout out Whitney. Just posted that she's $320 away from the $5,000 in her first 90 days. So congratulations, Whitney. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing.
If anybody else does, chime in on that, because that's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta move our heads again. This is like annoying here. Okay. They don't know what I'm talking about. I know you know, right? Okay, so in the chat, we want to know what your thoughts are for the week. Okay, what of these feelings have you guys been feeling? Now, we want to hear positive and negative. All right, I know Laura's going to be reading those to me, so I can have the full screen up.
We have hopeful.
I like that.
Hopeful, overwhelmed and hopeful.
Yep.
Anxious. Okay. Good. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily have to be words here. You can make your own.
Yeah. Keep on moving. Had somebody else said, yes, keep on moving.
Keep on moving. That's a good
That's
one.
good support. We'd like to hear that. Yes. Frustrated and overwhelmed and excited, frustrated and overwhelmed. Let's see. Anxious and fearful. Crushed week 1. That's from Dennis. Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so all these
all over the place.
Yeah. Right? And all these thoughts are normal. So it's, we've all been through there. Laura and I especially have been there, and all consultants. So don't think you guys are the only ones with these feelings. We all go through a cycle of fear, doubt, being overwhelmed, scared, excited, nervous, anxious, and energized. So don't think that you're, alone in that one. And we're all here to support you too. So that's good. So these are some really nice sayings. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. A lot of us find excuses from time to time. So that is a great one to put up on the wall sometimes, for me anyway. You must find the place inside yourself where nothing is impossible. I kill 5,000 ticks a season, as well as infectious mice and venomous snakes. What's your superpower? That's hard to beat. But anyway, so think about what's your superpower. And then stay positive, work hard, and make it happen, because we know it can happen. It's just that you need to want to make it happen. Okay, so now we're going to review, and you guys are going to do this in the chat. We want you to put how many bookings did you get within the last week. Okay, some are going to say 0, and some are going to kill it, and we're going to have in between. So there's no judging here. We're all here for each other. So how many bookings did you get? How did you get them? Okay, whether you Facebook message, text, email, phone call, and like kind of what wording you used. And then how many more do you need to reach the hashtag Sweet 16?
Okay, so we have some coming in. 207 through Facebook Messenger. She needs 8 more. Anna's Facebook need 14 more. Tommy, that's Lisa. Phone calls. She needs 3 more. Josh booked a fundraiser and needs 15 more.
I see some of them typing too and concentrating.
Yes.
So I'm sure it's going to keep coming in. Okay. And then somebody's muted now. All right. I just muted. I think somebody that just jumped on maybe. Okay. So what did you guys learn from the reach outs? So in the chat, this is about what you learned from the things that you had to do. It's part of your homework. So in the chat, 3 takeaways from Stephanie Richardson and what you're going to implement this week to reach goals. And then in another chat, put what ones you got, the 3 takeaways from Marna Ross, and what you're going to implement this week to reach the goals. And we're giving you seconds, a few minutes to do that. So
we're seeing that it looks like most people had the most success connecting with people on Facebook. And as Josh is consistently speaking to people and tracking every contact. But most of the people who did get bookings in the last week got them through Facebook Messenger, both in-home parties and also virtual parties. So Facebook Messenger or text is the second most successful method of reaching people. And that is an issue these days.
Oh, what? How to reach people?
Of actually connecting to people. Because what was our focus, right? Two-way context, which means it wasn't just about sending mass mailings or, mass emails or any of that. It's having the conversation. And, Debbie and I talk about this all the time, is like, what's the best way to have a conversation with somebody these days? And
it changes.
It changes, right? It changes.
So don't be afraid, to do that. So what were the 3 takeaways? Did anybody put the 3 takeaways from the Stephanie Richardson yet?
So Debbie says, we'll track we'll track better, set office hours, and use better reasons for the reach outs and the contacts. Debbie, you want to tell us a little bit more about what do you mean by better reasons on that?
You can unmute, Debbie, if you want.
Yeah, I was always just using basically do you want to be on my team or do you want to have a party? So I liked how Stephanie was saying that, follow up with how do you like the products? Do you have any problems? Do you need some recipes? There's a lot of reasons why we want to reach out to people. And it's not always about have a party, be on my team. So, there's more than 2 reasons why we want to call people.
Yep, because you're building the relationship with them that way. And then
exactly.
Then they're going to want to have a party because you're not just going straight for the booking.
Exactly.
That's great.
So that's what that meant.
Right. Good.
Awesome.
I figured that was, but I wanted to hear you say it.
There you go.
But, and that's true. We're also hearing tracking leads in every contact, making 25 contacts a week, customer care. It comes back to, like Debbie said, having their interests in mind. Christine is saying, no response doesn't count as no contact. Hold on my thing. No response doesn't count as a contact. You will average 35 to 45 attempts to reach out to get those 25 contacts, and keeping a spreadsheet with the names and the dates and information about each contact is so critical.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to tell one little story today. So I had somebody who was very interested in having a party. Text. I actually texted, because I write it down. I texted 8 times in the last year, never got a response. Today, I Facebook Messenger her. She messaged me right back, and we booked a virtual party for March. I could see that she'd seen all the texts, but she didn't respond to any of them. So sometimes if you see that one method of reach out isn't working,
go for the other.
Go mix it up and do something else. And Dennis says, reach out to, never close with a comment, use a question to end.
That's
and
awesome.
When you're talking, get relatable. Absolutely. Make sure you give them a reason to respond back.
Mm-hmm.
In our old days, like us old people, we used to be well seasoned, or whatever. We used to be taught to say, when you called somebody, to say, hey Debbie, this is Laura with Pampered Chef. I have a question about your order. Please call me back. Now, what most people are going to do? They're going to call you back. But if you leave this whole message about, hey, hope you're doing great, blah 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 blah. Could you want to have a party? You may not get a call back, but they want to know what you need. So you're right. End with a question. Just like in our virtual parties, we want to end with a question, right? In our posts, we want to give them a reason to respond and engage. Great point. Love that one.
Did we get any on the Marna or no?
I have not. Well, some of them are not being identified. Which one is which?
Which.
Anything that Marna says, you do. That's the takeaway for Marna. Marna.
I don't know about you guys. How funny is Marna? She is awesome. She's brilliant and fun at the same time. So anytime you can listen to a Marna one, listen to a Marna one. Okay, so we'll go on to the next slide then for now. Sounds like you guys did a great job with it, by the way. Okay, so let's talk about the iceberg. Okay, so successes like up here. See, this is the 16 bookings, okay, which is a hashtag Sweet 16, we call it, which is 4 parties a week, okay, which you can run one block party. If you're not sure what a block party is, then talk to your director, but one block party would have the 4 parties in it. So it's not like you're doing anything more, but the reason why we say 4 per week is because you're going to have one that's going to drop, one that's going to be average, and one that'll be above average, okay? So that is why we always say that. This is what we're talking about, the contacts down here, because people don't see that the people that are getting the bookings are dedicated, they're hardworking, they have good habits. Good habits can be taking 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Don't think you have to have a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour time block. Do little spots here and there every day, and it's really going to help. So that's what good habits is. You are going to get disappointed, and we all do. But remember, the no is not now sometimes. You know what I mean? It's, not ever, but it's not now. So that still happens. Sometimes you give up some things that you want to do to work hard to get up to the success. We all have failures, but if you don't have failures, you're not moving up. So failures are okay, and then persistence gets you up to the success. So just keep on going. We know you guys can do it, right? And so do your directors, because they would not have you on here otherwise. Okay.
And before we move on, we did have some input on Marna Ross.
Okay.
Christine says, must do more than just posting. Videos are important. A strong introduction is extremely important, as well as having engaging posts. I cannot emphasize that enough. Go live for prize drawings and private message to offer an upgrade if a party is booked. That works really well for me.
Mm-hmm.
And Debbie says, from Marna, 90% of decisions are made on emotions. So when giving prizes, offer upgrades, and always build connections. So absolutely. And if you're not comfortable going live at the start of, because I know some of you are new, it's okay to have the camera looking down at your hands. It's okay. It's okay. You start there and then you move up. And please do not worry about what you look like or what's going on. You want to be relatable, right? That's what one of the things that Marna says. So
Real life.
real life. So do it in your pajamas. Do it with your hair messy. This is how people cook, right? It's
People
okay.
my family walks in on me and I'm like, that's what happens when you go live. Now I do have a consultant who went live. She actually filmed it. She didn't go live. She made a recording. She had her daughter video her. She, I think, did 3 takes, but she posted it in our team page so that she could show people that she did it. So if you want to practice going live, go live in your team page. And then this way, the only people seeing you are your team. So it's not a big deal. So, and it helps you. It helps you get used to doing it.
I also, something I learned from a recent retreat we went to, I have my own group. I am the only member in the group. Well, you actually have to have 2 members. So I'm a member and my business page is a member of this group. And I go live in my video group. So that way I can save those videos to Facebook, and I can then actually copy and paste the URL into a group. It helps me to practice. So we're also coming back to Dennis says, overcoming objections, explain how little time it takes. I'm not sure what that is. Too costly, show them the outlet. Items under $70. If you have not seen, I do an analysis every season about our prices. Spring summer catalog, there's 400 products and 63% of them are under $30. So I like to say 2/3 of our products are under $30. Yes, we have products over $100, but people don't pay full price for those. And if they're not interested, see about permanency. Value is what we talk about. Ask if you can check back in a month or 2. Very important, because that gives you a sense as to whether people are just don't know how to say no, or if they really have an interest and they just can't do it right now. So as Debbie said, the no, not now.
And then mark it down, though. Make sure you mark it down to follow up with them on the date you're supposed to follow up with them.
So Dennis says he has several contacts in Mississippi where the floodwaters have been really bad, like scary. Having been a disaster responser, I put them on a list to call in July. Recovery time is long, right? But it's a perfect opportunity to help somebody out, do fundraisers, and people will respond to that. So thank you for all those insights. Okay, so I'm guessing that this was one of the issues that you guys, a lot of people that I talked to, they felt like they had tapped out their contact list, their launch list, their Frankso list, however you want to say it. So we're going to give you another list, another way of looking at these, because sometimes it just takes a different, just twisting how you're looking at things to look at things a little bit different to open up new avenues. So this is going to be A to Z contacts. So does anybody carry mini catalogs around with them? Does anybody have their mini catalog with them at all times? Put in chat whether you do, whether you have something, a recipe card, even a business card. Big catalogs tend to get a little munched up, so I usually don't carry those around, but I bring mini catalogs. Anybody else carry these around with you? So here's the thing, is that this is super important. So Christine, I always have mini catalogs, some recipe cards. Excellent. Minis and business cards. Fabulous. What's the most important thing with these little business materials that you carry around with you? What's the thing that you have to do? Your information? Anybody else? Getting their contacts. So I have a Post-it note on the back of all of my mini catalogs, because I say to them, I would love to give you this mini catalog, but I'd really love to give you a big catalog, and I'd really love to get you in contact with all of my recipe collections. What is your cell phone or your email address? I need your name and some way to reach you, because you're going to keep this and you're going to give them the mini. And giving them their information, giving them your information is really just like asking them to throw this away for you, because there's no call to action on here. They usually will not do anything with this. You need to get their information. That's what's most important. And I love these Post-it notes. I just get them at Staples. Some that are hearts, some that are stars, and it just makes it fun. It makes it low key. It takes away any of the pressure and the kind of like weirdness of being like I said, hey, you know what? Cell phone or email address. I'm not looking for your home address. I'm not going to come and stalk you. I just want to get you more information. So what are you comfortable giving to me? Some other things that you can do to expand your customer base right now is, of course, there is still time to do your own party in February. Of course, there's lots of time to do your first party in March. So does anybody have any ideas as to how to get the new season started in March with their own party? How would you market it? Anybody have any ideas? Just it's next week. The week from today is March 1st.
Mm-hmm. Time flies.
Time flies. Getting their new product launch, right? That's a great one for Josh. Just like you're doing a test. Like, I would love it if you could come and help me figure out how to use these new products. I would love for you guys to come and test the new recipes. I would love for you guys to come over and give me your ideas on how to use these new products. No big deal. It's no stress. Grab 3 to 5 people, and then what? Hey, there's an extra bonus if you guys can bring somebody with you, or 2 people with you, or 3 people with you, right? Tell your friends, right? And they'll tell 2 people, and they'll tell 2 people, and they'll tell 2 people. So use this end of season, beginning of the season. What is an example of an extra bonus? Oh, well, I give away season's best cookbooks.
For everything I do.
I have a good friend who gives, so say Debbie comes to my new product launch party and she brings 3 friends. I'm going to tell her, for every friend that you bring, I'm going to take $1 off your order. Okay. Is it really going to cost me anything? But the person who does this, she's like sold over $3 million in the company. She knows what she's doing. And she actually does that for all of her parties. Anybody who brings in an outside order or brings a guest with them, they get $1 off their order. They have to place an order, but they get $1 off. And yes, you pay for that $1, but what are you getting for that? And people will do crazy things for $1. So that's even less expensive than the season's best. You can give them a recipe card. Honestly, it really doesn't matter.
No. And there's also the outlet. Some people go to the outlet and buy stuff themselves. But really, like Laura said, it doesn't matter. If you have something, you want to get it together quick, do the $1. Right. You know what I mean? This way you don't have to worry about having gifts. That's going to be the gift, as $1 off your order.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
I know a lot of people do like free shipping, but I like to organize my extra bonuses around something that I'm earning money on, not something that is totally 100% out of my pocket.
So free seasoning is like an option. Like you say, you get a free seasoning if you spend over whatever. And say the $100, right? Mm-hmm. Because next month we don't have that $100 thing. So if you spend $100, you get a seasoning from these choices. Make sure you say these choices, because some are $5.25, some are 7 something, and some are even higher. So make sure you put a choice on that.
Right. Anything like that. I mean, you could do anything on a small item. So there's a lot of different ways to do extra bonuses. Make sure you are, now this is something it's a little bit thing, friending your party guests. You have to be a little careful with that on Facebook. I encourage my party guests to friend me. And I love that. Having a business page, invite all of your friends. In fact, you have to keep doing this because people don't see that reminder. But that is an option if you have a business page, to make sure that people are continuing to come into your business page. Closet clean out challenge. I know this is hard for brand new consultants, but it's not that hard to say, hey, I have 3 new spring products, even if you don't actually have them, that I want to give away to my March hosts. Well, you're going to add it to their order, to their host order. So you're not going to pay full price. You get to choose. I never go away with anything worth more than $20. And it usually is costing me $10 to add it to their order. But sometimes that's what will get somebody off the fence. So any kind of thing like that where you're just going to say, hey, I have an extra bonus for anybody who books in March. Okay. And you always want to be in demand. One of Debbie's favorite things is the power of one.
I do.
And I always say it's one more. You are always looking for one more party. So yeah, I know some of you need 8 parties on your calendar, but you only need one at a time. So when you're talking to people, it's okay to say, I only need one more party for this challenge I have going on with my team, or with this training program. I only need one more, because that's true. That person is not going to book 10 parties with you. They're only going to book one. So after you get that booking, then you move on. And this is absolutely key. Follow up and circle back. All those people that you contacted in the last week, go back and see who you never heard back from. It is okay to follow up with them, to circle back, even if you're offering them a little extra something. Just checking in with them and saying, I didn't hear back from you.
Checking in with you. Really, just checking in. What did you think? That's
yeah, what do you think? It's
What do
as
you
simple
think?
as that. It's as simple as that. You don't have to make a big deal out of it, because we all do it. We all get all these messages and these texts, and you can't respond right away, or you don't want to respond right away. It's okay. Okay. Next slide, Debbie.
Okay, I was muting.
I know, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that you have the bookings, time to party. So this was the question I had for you, Debbie, because I did not see this slide before, the step-by-step. I don't know what that is. I haven't seen that one before.
Oh, this slide, you mean?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it says use the step-by-step diligently. That I have not seen. So sorry, we had a little disconnect earlier. But
yeah,
at your parties, remember, the best place for you to get bookings is at your parties. Make sure at the parties that you have that you are definitely focusing on building your calendar. Know what dates you have available. Talk to everybody. Have a conversation with everybody. Make sure you're doing engaging posts. If you're doing in-home parties, make sure you're doing full service checkout. There's all sorts of training on all of this. Make sure that you're doing that, because that is where you're going to be getting, it's so much easier to book from a party that you have than to go backwards instead of forwards.
and have your host work for the bookings, like coach your host to get the bookings for you. So offer them a little incentive if you want. On the third booking, you're going to give them a $15 item or a $20 item. It's not going to cost you that much, but think
And the
about
third booking has to hold.
Right, but all 3 of those parties had to qualify. So if you had 3 qualifying parties and then you're giving that gift at the end, you made so much more than just that. And you're probably from those parties getting other bookings that you wouldn't have gotten either. So again, the power of one, you're spreading out even further. So have the host work for you to get the bookings. I know in a lot of the groups that we have on here there's that host coaching about the challenge, the host challenge, to get the bookings for the virtual parties. You can still do the same concept with in-home parties if any of you do in-home parties.
Yeah.
So
make it seem normal.
Yeah.
If you make it a big deal, like, oh my God, I got 3 bookings. Oh my God. No. You want to make it seem absolutely normal. Most of my hosts get 3 bookings from their parties. You make it sound like this is what everybody normally does. If a host doesn't have 3 bookings, they feel like they're losers. So they're going to work harder to help you, because they don't even want to be average. They want to be above average, but they certainly don't want to be below average. So make it like this is normal. Most of my hosts get 3 bookings from their parties. Who do you know who's going to have the next party?
I think this is used as step-by-step is probably the virtual host coaching, if I had to guess.
Okay. All right. So so hopefully if your director has not provided the step-by-step virtual.
I think they all have it. I think
right. If not, please let your director know.
It's probably in your units, in your team page. Look in your units for the host coaching. It's probably there.
That's what I thought it was, but I wanted to make sure.
Now that you were just saying things, I was like, wait, I think that's it. Okay.
So this is so important. I talk to our team about this all the time. If your party is boring, if your party is like, if you're falling asleep when you're doing your own slides, your own posts, your guests are not having a good time. Your host is dreading the process. And if your host is not happy about your party, she's not going to invite her guests. It's got to be fun. It's got to be engaging. It's got to have value. And Facebook gives extra credit to videos going live, going live. And anytime that you can play a game and get those extra engagement, tips and tricks. There's all sorts of stuff that the home office provides, but you can find them in lots of groups as well. Just if you're in marketing imagery, all you have to do is type in tip, and there's all sorts of slides that are tips. People love it. It's like why they watch the Food Network. They're not going to make those recipes, but they like all of the little tips. So make sure you're doing things. It's not about sell, like Debbie said earlier. It's not about that. It's about making it worth their time. And then they're going to go, hey, I'd like to do this for my friends. I think this would be fun.
And the tips part, I have done when I've done the tips for my VIP group, but I also do them in the parties, is the tips, you can do them seasonal too. So like something that would be seasonal, like, whatever fruit or vegetables out right now, Google and find a tip for that. It does not have to be a Pampered Chef one.
No.
So whatever you can do, or if you happen to know, I know we have some people on our team that are great with tips because they're nutritionalists. So, any tip that you can give is going to be great. So just know that one.
Yeah, make sure you put that stuff in there. It's really worth it. Okay. So the next is keep tracking your contacts. Make sure you know when you're following up. Find a system that you're going to keep track of what you're doing. I do use this content, the tracker that we provided you, in other words. And you can see that, it really works. And I highlight it. I know what I have to do next. It's easy for me to follow. I know who I have to follow. It's half the battle sometimes is not knowing where to start. Debbie does it.
Yes, I do the notebook, and I have one notebook for recruiting and one for the bookings. And I do highlight them different colors. So like pink means I have to follow up with them. Orange just means that those were the contacts I made the 2 ways. And then green is when you get the booking, because green means money, just saying. Okay, sorry. So that was my.
No, I highlight somebody yellow when the two-way contact comes through. As you can see, I've got 25 contacts here and only 3 were 2-way. Right. And on the next page, I got 25 and 4 were 2-way. So it's not you guys, it's all of us, it's numbers. And then, and then you get into a streak. I've got 20 on here. And I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, not 10 of them became 2-way contacts. You'd never know.
Because they'll follow up with you a day, 2 days later, a week later, they'll respond. And also I'm flipping through the book. I'm like, wait, that's another contact. So it gets exciting. Like, remember we said all those different feelings? You do get energized through some of it, and some of it gets you down. Just remember, when you get one of those down ones, try to turn it around for yourself, read something inspirational, like a little quote, and just like wipe that one away. You know what I mean? And just keep going, because you will get energized again.
Some will, some won't. So what? So who's next? Keep going, keep moving forward. So we know that Stephanie Richardson says you should not count your contacts at your parties, but we think that right now, if you have parties going on right now, you absolutely should count those, because you're going to put some extra energy into making sure that those contacts, that you're creating a relationship with them. Right now, that's a really good thing for you to do as you're trying to build your customer base and build your calendar. Go to your customers that you've got right now, your guests at your parties, virtual or in-home, and create a relationship with them, and talk to them about the benefits of having a party. So why wouldn't you do that? What could be preventing you from following up either with those you talked to last week or anybody that you've got in a party right now? Put it in chat. Be honest. Tell us why you're not following up with everybody you talk to.
You can read the chat. Sorry, I can't.
Yeah, I got it up. And you know what? It's so simple. Don't make a big deal out of it. So fear of getting another no, okay? Honestly, it's the organization piece, trying to keep it all straight and make sure I'm remembering. Again, that's where the tracking chart comes in. It really makes a difference. And I didn't used to do this. So this I learned from Stephanie Richardson, 2 years ago? And it makes a huge difference. And I will actually start a new one of these for like every campaign that I've got. And I will go back to old ones. and see that. So I go for no because no means I can move on and someone will give me a yes. Yay! I'm now using my tracker on Excel. Excellent. It makes it so much easier because, first of all, in my personal opinion, I don't take this personally. It's just numbers. It's just a name. I don't get that same kind of like angst about somebody saying no. It's just like, yep, check that off, move on. Check it off, move on. Sometimes if I already reached out several times, I feel like I'm becoming a past. Great answer. So anybody have any input for Janine as to what makes you feel like, if you're on the other side of it, like when do you feel as somebody else is being a past? Anxiety I feel about burning bridges with friends and family who mean a lot to me. Interesting. Okay. So put yourself on the other side of the conversation. So what would it take if somebody else was asking you, what would it take for you to say, oh my gosh, I never want to hear from this person again? Because in my mind, if you're following up because somebody needs something from you, if you are following up because you have something of value to provide them, okay? Josh says, press is when you've said no already and a no, not ever. Okay. Okay. They didn't graciously accept my no. Excellent answer, Whitney. Thank you. So here's the thing. If somebody says, no, I'm not interested. No, I'm not going to follow up with them again. And I do say to them, thank you so much for being honest with me. That really helps my business. Okay. It really does, because there's somebody else who does need my help. All right. But what can you say after somebody has said no? I have said that a few times this week and I was genuine about it. Excellent. That is so important, because people then they stop being defensive. If you're genuine about it, people stop being defensive about it and they open up a little bit. If somebody does say no, I'm not interested, people want to say yes to something. So you always want to give them something that they can say yes to. So something like, would you like to hear more about my referral program? I know you're not interested in our host program, but you might know somebody who is. Or, would you like me to add you into my VIP group on Facebook so I can keep you up to date with the new recipes that are coming away? Is there any other way I can help? What a great sentence that is. Is there any other way that I can help?
That is good.
That is excellent. Excellent. Because it's a wide open thing, wide open. So these are all really, really good answers. I have offered to add people to current parties to see how they are run to give them an idea. That's a great idea, Whitney. So if people are not sure what you're really asking them, that's a really great idea to say, hey, would you like to see what's going on? One of the most successful virtual party consultants always adds his potential hosts to a really, really good party and a really bad party. So he tells them right off the bat, he's like, if you do this, you're going to get all of this. If you do this, you're not going to get anything. And it makes it so easy for him to
It works.
Yeah, it really works. So getting no responses, Janine, that's all about circling back. You got to circle back. Just circling back. Now this says, what do you think about learning some new fall recipes? We need to update that. That should be spring recipes. Okay.
I should make on that one.
Yeah. But it's really that simple. Just following up. It's like, hey, checking in. What did you think? Okay. Or did you get a chance to think about it? Or did you want me to send you the sneak peek? I love that word, the mini catalog. I call it the sneak peek, because people love to get the first, being first on the block, so it's like a sneak peek. Okay. It costs you $20. It's a first class stamp just to mail it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. So next steps, homework for this week, keep tracking your contacts. Keep tracking your contacts. I'm going to say it again. Keep tracking your contacts. 50 is ideal, but always go for more.
And right
Figure
now, I was going to say, right now we're stretching. You guys are stretching. This is not what you're normally going to be doing. Once you get the Sweet 16 or the minimum of the 12, then you're not going to have to be, you're going to be doing contacts all the time, but not as many. So we're saying put double time in now for this week again, so that you can continue on in the program. Right? Sorry, Laura.
exactly. No, that's perfect. Although I have to tell you that once you start doing like at least the 25 contacts a week, you want to keep doing it because it makes it so much less stressful because you never look at an empty calendar then.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out what power tools you'll be using or promoting at your parties to create the desire to buy or book. So even if your power tool, because of the kit that you have, is the manual food processor, it doesn't have to be the blender or the air fryer or the quick cooker or whatever your power tool is, whether it's the stone, whatever it is, use it, post about it, go live about it, talk about it, not asking for anything else, but make sure people are knowing all the different things that you can do with whatever that key product is that you're focusing on, because that is creating the desire to buy or book.
Paint the picture for them, even if you don't have
Paint the picture, right? Go live in your VIP group, personal page to demonstrate your power tool. Always make sure you're letting people know, hey, you can get that for free. Manual food processor is easy. 15 years ago, the manual food processor was one of our most expensive items. Now it's cheap because it's relative, right? It's like, oh, I could buy a $349 blender or a $55 manual food processor. $55 doesn't seem like that much if you're looking at those two as your two options to make salsa or make a pesto. Not that I would give up my blender, but so Whitney says, having the blender to make smoothies at a party where something has to bake was huge for me this weekend. They loved it, and we were just standing around. Oh my gosh, so good.
made the soup in at the party.
So Whitney also said she had a no response, and when she followed up, she said, oh, I totally forgot to respond, and then she booked a virtual party. Yeah.
Way to go.
Right. I mean, that happens all the time because this is the world that we live in. So listen to Julie Ritter on bookings, and to your director, list your 3 takeaways. She is 100% virtual, but a lot of what she does also applies to in-home parties, in-person parties.
If you guys get drawing slips, whether in-home parties or like you do your Google form, and you guys get no's on it, or like somebody that's got the really low that they don't really want to have a party, do you follow up with them still with a party or don't you? Comment. Let's see what they put. Let's see what you put in your chat. Sorry, Laura, I'm giving you another chat.
No, that's okay.
Well, actually, is this the last slide anyway?
Yeah, I have one more.
Okay.
Yes, good. Follow up, because you're not necessarily asking for bookings. You got to follow up. You got to follow up on everything.
Exactly. And you know how many people have said no on slips and they're the first one to have the party?
Right.
And this is from years of experience. Let me tell you that the no's are usually the ones that'll have the party and the other ones are not. So go figure. Follow up with all of them.
Josh, I'm assuming that meant can't hurt. Okay, good. Yeah, exactly, Whitney. Even if it's a follow-up about how they like the product, it develops trust, right? Like make sure, like if you have, telling all my stories, but I just had somebody who purchased the can opener from a virtual party, so I know that they haven't used it. I followed up with her and I said, when you get the can opener, please let me know if you have any problem using it. I want to make sure that you're happy with it, but it's a little different than probably anything else you've used before. And it started a conversation that had nothing to do with the can opener. It had nothing to do with, she lived in a town. I was like, oh, I think I know somebody who lives there, blah, 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 blah. And at the end, yes, she had said no on the Google form. She's like, so what is this virtual party like? What does it really entail? Like, how much did so-and-so do? And how much did you do? And she booked the party. But again, you're right. Everything it is about creating that relationship. Follow up all the time, right?
Like if you're in a room with somebody, you're not going to just ignore them. You're going to build that relationship. So you got to remember to do that in virtual party.
Right. And one more thing is there is no time limit on following up. A lot of people are like, oh gosh, I never called or never followed up with my people from October. Do it now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In fact, some of my best bookings have come from, my post was, my deepest apologies is how I started off. It's like, I realized I never followed up with you to make sure you were happy with your products. I want to make sure that you know, everything is working for you. You know, like the holidays got in the way, blah, 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 blah. Own it. It's okay. You're being human. People love that. Okay. So we got one more week of this just
Intense
booking process. Okay. Anybody have any thoughts? As far as the Google form, the Cooking Stars team has one. I don't know if Whitney, you're on Sam's team. I'm sure she has one.
It's definitely in units in the
Yeah.
Gryer Mover and Shakers.
Yeah. So everybody's got, I mean, I think we stole Linda's, so.
Yeah, well, they have in the units how to create your own Google.
Right. Yeah. And if, I mean, like, there's, right, your director's going to have.
Because, just FYI, do not use a Google link, because I know some of mine do.
Yeah.
Use the Google link, because if it's my Google link, I get your customers' responses. You're not going to get them.
That's why we don't have really a template, but you can go and look at how to create one, and you can look at somebody else's. Just don't use an existing.
Right. So
link.
if your director shares a link with you, that's really for you to look at the link and see what the wording is, and then create your own Google.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Good.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. Take a look. Right. But the Google form is awesome. And in my virtual parties, I give bonuses for anybody who fills out the Google form.
30 entries.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you any money to give them like 50 entries if you want.
Right.
Give a high number, because it doesn't cost you anything to give tickets or entries or whatever.
And if you're looking for something to do after the party is officially closed, but the Facebook party posts are done, but your party link hasn't closed because people are still ordering or the host hasn't gotten to you, that's an easy thing to repost in the virtual party to encourage people, because they can still fill that out. I'm like, oh, there's still time for you to get more points for the drawing, the prize at the end if you do that, or whatever.
You can also private message them it too.
Good
I mean,
point.
like as a follow-up, like if you're
Great follow-up.
right? Like a two-way, if you're trying to get that two-way connection and like build a relationship, say, hey, I want to make sure that you saw this so that you get, 30 entries. I want to help you maybe win the prize or whatever.
By the way, I just started using a new wording for my follow-up after the Facebook, my last connection with my virtual party guests, and I'm private messaging them. And all it says is, thank you so much for coming to Debbie's party. I would love to spoil you with a shopping spree of your own. Let me know if you'd like more information. Simple, because who doesn't want a shopping spree?
I do.
Right? Right. I mean, who doesn't? So some people will say, what's that? Or
I'm writing very fast, by the way.
Right. All right. So next, Debbie. Okay, so this is so true. We get in our own way all the time. So as Tony Robbins says, the only person holding you back is you. And when I lost my excuses, I found my results. You can do this. We have all been, Debbie and I have been in the business a long time, and there are some times that we work harder than others. Dennis says, how soon after the party ends and I close it does the Facebook link last? If you are you doing Facebook groups, Dennis, or Facebook events? You can come off of mute if you want. A Facebook party group, a Facebook group is there forever.
It's a group.
It's there forever. Until you archive it, the group is still there, even if you archive it. But the group, here's the other thing is, I don't know if anybody who's been around for a while, but I go back into, I know Janine does this. I go back into my old virtual party groups and I post in them all the time from a year ago. Mm-hmm. I'll go back in and I'll say, did you guys see we have a new catalog coming out?
I do that with the look and learn. Because these people are looking.
Now, a lot of those people will not see because Facebook keeps changing the rules and they take people off of all notifications if there's no activity on the group. But some people will still see it. So it doesn't hurt, right? It doesn't hurt to go in. And if like all of my March hosts from 2019, I am talking to every single one of them about hosting this year. Do not judge how often somebody wants to have a party. You don't get to decide that. I have people who host 3 times a year.
She's very good at that, so listen to her.
Yeah. And I have people, like, there are some people in person parties. Like, I have one person who the last Monday of every January is her date and has been for 12 years. I have one person who books twice a year with new catalogs. She books April and October every year for probably 8 years. She always has $1,500 to $2,000 parties every season. Don't judge. Your virtual party host, if they had a successful virtual party, they're going to want to do it again. If they did not have a successful virtual party, they're going to want to do it again, because you're going to be able to tell them, let's fix what went wrong, because you should know why things worked and why things didn't work, you know? So don't make judgments for people. Make sure you're offering, you're doing it for them. You're thinking of them. You're not doing it for yourself. You're saying, I've got a great new catalog that you got to share with your guests. You got to share with your friends and family. How about it? Okay. Questions. I know we're going, we have 5 minutes left in our clock. And we did go a little, I know normally we try to keep it to 45 minutes, but you guys had so many great information in the chat. Anybody have any questions? Come off of mute, ask questions. Your director will be posting the homework for this week. This is the second of the 2 required calls. And from now on, you will be working directly with your director to go to the next step in the Rockstars program. So
Make sure you guys have your minimum of 12, but hashtag Sweet 16 to continue on. So this week might be a big, big push for you, but we know you can do it.
And honestly, this week, because it's the last week of February and the new catalog comes out a week from today, it's a perfect time. It really is.
And remember, one of those bookings can be yours. And if you do an in-home one, like Laura mentioned before, like just have a few people over for like, you know, come try the new products or try the new recipes. That counts for 2 of them. Okay? So it counts for 2. You can also do a Facebook one from that too. That would be 3. I'm trying to help you guys add these up quick. How about that? Josh is laughing at me. Josh knows me well.
And think about it. If you're looking to add to your own, you know, I mean, how smart is that? If you're looking to add to your own inventory or your own kitchen, for every $200 party that you submit, it's a 60% off item. Who wouldn't want to have a party in March? It's crazy. All they have to do, or all you have to do, is collect $200 in orders.
Some of them will spend $200 themselves.
On their own, right?
Like if you tell them that they can, like I've had people call me with orders. I'm like, I can turn you into a host. I don't want to host. I'm like, no, listen, I want to give you the host benefits because you qualify for a party. And they'll be like, what do you mean? I'm like, you can get $20 free. Well, you're the guest with that $200 item or whatever it is, or $300. You know, don't make them go down. And then say, okay, now you can spend X amount free, one at 60 off and one at 50 off.
Right.
And you're going to get a 10% discount for a full year.
And so let's list these March parties, right? You get one item at 60% off, one item at half off, $20 in free products, 20% off of anything that's not free, 60% off or 50% off, and 10% off for a year.
Better than a Kohl's coupon. Come on, we all do peel those Kohl's to see if we get 30% off.
I know. It's so true. It's so true. But make sure, you know, make sure you're sharing that with people is, oh my God, I just realized the March host special is crazy. Did you know? Wow. Like, you know, like people see the deal. So it's also providing them value. So great call.
So quiet. Any questions before we
sign off?
No, we got them laughing. No, at least they're not sleeping.
No.
I keep you guys alive, don't I?
Good. Well, thank you guys for being and for you know, stretching I need to get those one of those. Okay, going back old school. Those was it Stretch
How do you
Armstrong?
know I'm not sleeping?
That's a good point because your comments are good. But Stretch Armstrong, if you have something, get silly putty or something, and think you just keep stretching. You know, some people take rubber bands. They're like, okay, I gotta stretch. It works because if you stay in your comfort zone, nothing changes. Nothing changes. And as I think it was Whitney who said earlier, you got to get more no's to get to the yeses. You're never going to get 100 yeses until you have 1,000 no's. So celebrate those no's. Yeah.
I'm going to stop recording.
Okay, stop recording.